I mean, I really think, and let me say a couple of things. These things are much more fruitful in the question and answer period, at least for me. And then the other thing I want to say is about the psychedelic community of Chicago. It's all fine and good to come to hear the great ones pontificate, but the reality of the situation is this is your community. And we have self-selected ourselves to be here out of the millions who aren't and the thousands who came to this conference and who are also not here. So look around. Somebody in this room has what you're looking for, and it probably isn't me. We used to stand out, but then our sartorial choices triumphed everywhere, and now we look like everybody else. But I'd like to do questions now for the rest of the session. Yeah. Yeah, I stay away. I stay away from talking about my own mathematical theories because the word mathematics is guaranteed to clear a hall in most situations. But I think it's perfectly, just to do this very briefly, two things are completely obvious to me that science has missed. And you're smart people, check it out. Isn't this true? That the universe has gotten more complicated as we approach the present? That everything they ever told you on Discovery Channel or anywhere else supports the idea that the universe in the beginning was simple and then it got more complicated, right? So that's a truth that reaches notice across biology, geology, astrophysics. It's a cross-disciplinary truth of great power. Well, then here's a second truth related to the first. This movement into complexity from the remote past to the present is occurring faster and faster and faster. And that's where we come into the picture, you see. We are animals, but we are animals plus. Animals plus language, plus technology, plus religion, plus analytical analysis, so forth and so on. We represent some kind of an experiment in a deepening of complexity. And historical change occurs at orders of magnitude faster than biological change. And very recently, pick a number, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, something like that, it seems like we entered into an even deeper involution of the spiral. Well, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that the spiral closure that's moving faster and faster is now moving so fast that its culmination can be imagined to occur within a human lifetime. And I think that that's true. I think we are the last generation of proto-human beings, and that beyond us lies something very hard to imagine. The human-machine symbiote, something which is going to spring, not from our loins, but as Zeus's daughter sprang, in a sense, from his forehead. And it's not simply a new species, it's a new order of being. It's as dramatic a break with the earlier orders of natural organization as the eukaryotes were from the prokaryotes and the land animals were from the sea. How does that make us feel? Well, I don't know. How does it make you feel? It's a complicated feeling here. In Silicon Valley, there are people every day who go to work with the phrase in their mind, the great work. And what is the great work? The great work is the handing on of human civilization to a species intelligent enough to appreciate the enterprise. And, it will be a symbiote, we hope. It will be an AI, for sure. It's here. It's here. I mean, it depends on how much you understand and who you know and which technologies you follow. We're all coming to terms with it at different levels. But in a sense, the only thing left is the collective realization occurring individual by individual that, in fact, history has ended. This is, not only the postmodern dispensation, it's the post-historical dispensation. What happens next? Well, that's the adventure we prayed for and claimed we wanted. So it is upon us. Yeah. In the back. Oh, thanks for bringing that all up. Heaven's Gate. Well, we only have an hour and a half here, and I have a lot of ideas about all of this. I think, that was a perfect example. Ideology kills. It is not a childish game. Ideology kills. And I was very amused. The Heaven's Gate thing was a tragedy, but there were curious aspects to it. It was the week before Easter. All around me, I heard people saying things like, how could people believe such crazy stuff? And by the way, honey, did you get a dress for service so we can go and celebrate the resurrection of the Redeemer? And you just wonder, whose ox is getting gored here? Because something is absolutely nuts, but 400 million people believe it, that makes it okay. But if 20 people believe something nuts, that's a cult. All of this gives me the creeps. I have an absolute horror of belief systems and cults, and I've never met a guru I really liked. I've never met one I've trusted. Alice Roosevelt Longworth, Teddy Roosevelt, some relative, I don't know. Anyway, she used to say at these White House dinners that they would give in the Roosevelt administration, she said, if you have nothing good to say about anyone, sit by me. And I'm sort of in that position. Being on the celeb circuit and so forth, I have a chance to sort of be behind the scenes. And since I wasn't appointed or nobody ever came to me, or I feel free to report to you because I identify with you. I don't identify with them. I identify with you. And I'm telling you, keep one hand on your wallet and the other hand over your anal pore. This is the way to approach all of this. Belief is hideous. It's also completely unnecessary. Ideology. Imagine a monkey walking around with the idea that he or she possesses certain truth. You have to lack a sense of humor to not see the absurdity of that. If you met a termite who told you he was on a quest for certain truth, a small smile would tug at your lips, I hope. Do you believe for a moment that we are different from that termite? I think not. I think not. We understand what we can understand. We build models. To do this without realizing the tentative nature of the enterprise is just damn foolishness. Here, my brother put it very well one time. He said, have you ever noticed that as we build the fire of understanding brighter, the greater the volume of darkness that is revealed? Or here, I'll put it for you in a geometric model. As the sphere of understanding expands, the surface area of ignorance necessarily grows ever larger. How could it be otherwise? Well, so then get a grip, All of these things are candles lit against the darkness. But that's why I say the thing to keep coming back to is the felt presence of immediate experience. Not how do I feel as a feminist or a Marxist or a devotee of Hieronymus Bosch or whatever. How do I feel? Period. Not through the filter of ideology. As I look back through history, as you look back through history, very few ideologies last very long without going sour or becoming toxic. So why should we